Hi, this is a quick video to show a couple of features that are coming in the next update of YuME. These are user requested features and we're always open to feedback. If you're using YuME and there's something you'd like to see added to the tool, come on over to the Facebook page, send a request and we'll see what we can do. The first new feature extends the freeze map function. So at the moment when you freeze map, you get this freeze map object with a submesh. And that submesh is one solid mesh of your map. If your map's got multiple materials in it or multiple textures in it, it may be multiple objects. If there's a single texture, it'll try and combine everything down to as few meshes as possible. Now, one of the requests we had was that it'd be nice if some objects were still left dynamic. So in this example, let's imagine that these blocks here are a wall that we can blow up with a bomb. So what we can do is, if we go to our configuration, you can see where you used to be able to just name layers, you now have an option to tick for freeze and for static. So let's just rename this layer frozen, and let's name this layer dynamic so we know what's going on. And with dynamic, we won't freeze it. And we'll also won't make any of the tiles static. By default, all the tiles are static when they're dropped. Okay, so now we go back, we're on the frozen layer. Let's select these tiles. And what we'll do is we will cut those, go to our dynamic layer, drop them again. Now you'll see in layer 2, we've got those tiles that we just picked up and dropped. So if I go to freeze map now, what you get is still a submesh, but the tiles that were on layer 2, the dynamic layer, are retained, and also if we look, they're not set to static. So now you could do what you want with those tiles at runtime. If you want to set them to be explodable by a bomb, shot by a gun, or just fall from ceiling, anything you want, they're now dynamic and usable in your scene. So that's the extension to the freeze layer function. The other function, the other sort of feature that was requested was the ability to move the grid canvas. So by default the canvas is spawned at 0, 0, 0. Not everybody wants to build there. Maybe there's a reason you want to build at 100 off in the X. So what you can do now is, there's a couple of ways you can do this, but if we pick the YuME map editor object, we can actually move its position. So let's move it 100 in the X. And if we start drawing, we could maybe hit, this could be where we want to start building a map. In that part of the world, we can move it wherever we want. So we can just basically move the canvas wherever we want in the scene. Now there's one caveat. The way the editor snaps objects is they're snapped to a minimum of 0.5. So if I move this to 100.5, you'll see that the existing tiles that we dropped are still where they were, but any new tiles will drop. But if I drop that to something like 0.25, it doesn't work. So the grid's slightly offset. So you are limited to increments of 0.5 units when dropping tiles. If you're finding that you're always wanting the canvas in a specific place whenever you create a new map, maybe it's just how your game is set up. It could be that you want it 1,000 up in the Y or something like that. You can set it here. So if you wanted it 100, 100, 100, the next time you create a map from scratch using YuME, that's where the normal canvas will be automatically spawned. Again, you can't I've actually set something up here so you can't actually make it not 0.5, so if I try and make it 2.5, it'll snap down to 100. So that's a slight limitation on it, but I think it offers quite a nice amount of flexibility for people who are wanting to build using YuME and not wanting to just start from 0, 0, 0 on the grid. So these two new features will be available soon. I'm going to be submitting this to the asset store today, so maybe in about 5 days' time you should see these features in YuME. Okay, hope you're all having a good new year, and I'll be back soon with more updates. Thanks.